So on table 4, I 3-bet this guy.
Yeah, and if you could pause it real quick. Let's talk about kind of what you're doing.
Sure. So he's opening up really wide in early position. So this is that 26 number on the second row. So he's opening up really wide. His fold to 3-bet is 50. So I'm not really like trying to get him to fold like enough to make the play profitable, but his fold to flop c-bet is 67. So I'm really expecting this guy to do a lot of set mining and then just folding the flop when I 3-bet him in position.
Yeah, he's got kind of odd stats. So his VPIP and pre-flop raise, he's 25-16. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the fact that he's got those kind of stats is just kind of crazy to me. Which brings me probably to my next point, which I'm not wild about your hand selection here for doing this. Where I think your ace 10 is going to play much better as a call here than it will as a 3-bet. And I think like if you were in like the small blind or something, like maybe I 3-bet just because I don't really want to deal with, a situation where I'm out of position and don't have initiative with a hand like ace 10. But I mean, even then, I really don't think, because I think then he's really only sticking around with his strong hands. Where I think here, your hand plays so much better as a call, and especially considering his range. Like, yeah, he does fold a lot to flop c-bets, and like 3-betting is probably okay if you feel like he's set mining a bunch. But I might even honestly like choose different hands than this, and choose much more like suited connector type hands. And the reason I would do that, like, and by that I obviously mean low suited connectors. Because I think if you kind of have the read he's going set money, that a lot of times where we flop top pair, we might get ourselves into some trouble with a hand like ace 10, where like we're essentially drawing dead, but we feel okay-ish about our hand.
Right, so when we flop the ace, I mean, it really doesn't matter whether we have the suited connector or ace 10, because he's going to fold anything worse and only continue with better.
Right. I mean, and the theory here is that he's going to basically, the theory to our play being profitable here is the following, where we'll 3-bet him, he'll fold the flop, and we win money. So we want to be choosing hands that also give us the opportunity to kind of cooler his sets as well. Where if we have something like 7-8 and we flop the straight and he's got 3 6s on the flop, all of a sudden we're like, all right, like we just made a very good decision there. And really, we don't ever put ourselves in a tough spot with 7-8. And we allow him to flop sets and still give us a draw. Whereas with a hand like ace 10, I would argue that we're really just putting ourselves in a spot to really just bring on the pain, in the sense of like, we're going to give away a street of like check raise. We're going to be like, oh, I guess we'll call this one, but I'll fold the turn. All of a sudden it's like, well, yeah, but that cost us $10 because we selected a hand that really puts us in a shit spot.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're trying to exploit his set mining, we should just not pay him off post-flop. So I agree with you that the suited connectors probably are a lot better.
So you got check raised on there. That's an interesting spot for him to check raise too. Just a weird board to see a check raise on that Jack deuce 6 there, double suited. That's one of those spots where I might not have been out of the hand as quickly as you were, unless I really had a read. He was set mining only pre-flop. The world's driest board on table 2. I like the decision to c-bet there. I think that's pretty straightforward. You're not going to get much trouble there. And so real quickly, let's talk about like kind of your color coding system while we have a lull in the action. So what are the colors meaning?
The orange is like just a regular, and specifically one that plays aggressively like pre-flop.
Okay, so he's like a solid regular.
Yeah, or just one I don't have too much of a read on.
Okay.
The purple is like a short stack regular. The pink is a regular who is like passive pre-flop. And then I have like green as a fish, and then my mega fish is white.
Okay. So on table 4, I like our call, but I think that this is a spot where, I think that I like check raising a lot more than I like really any other options, where I think this is a great spot to kind of balance out your check raising range here, and really choose a hand that has both kind of backdoor equity, is like a solid hand to kind of run a runner, a straight, give us more outs on the turn. An ace probably makes us pretty happy. Where like we can credibly rep, a lot of draws, strong hands, medium hands by check raising, and I think that this is a good spot to balance out. Not to mention that I feel like our opponent's range from like stealing on the button is usually pretty wide. At the bare minimum, very wide. So this is a spot that I like to target players in these situations, just because I feel like they're playing way too aggressively, if that makes sense.